Hey everybody! Welcome back to the stream. Yeah, it's Wednesday. You know what that means? It means that it's cardio day. It means that it's jump around our cardio class for the week because even though time has no meaning, Wednesdays still feel like a slog. So good to, get done with everything that you had to do during the day and give yourself something to pump you up and send you into the rest of the week. Hopefully energized? Hopefully energized. I feel energized, but, I'm supposed to. Oh, my goodness. Today's a really special stream for me because my dear friend Eileen has been streaming all day on her Twitch channel at Strawberry Sunbeam for Extra Life. And so she's been accepting donations for Extra Life, which is an awesome organization that helps to support children receiving hospital care, and then she is personally also matching each of the donations up to, I believe, her goal donation amount, and then she's going to take that match money and split it between the Okra Project and the NAACP Legal Fund. I think I have that right. Eileen, if you're watching, correct me in the chat. But yeah, so 3 really amazing organizations. She's been streaming all day, and she is usually a student of mine when I'm teaching in-person classes, and so she decided that she wanted to host this class today on her stream as part of her Extra Life stream, which is really awesome. So Eileen, if you're on, thank you. And anyone who makes their way over here from Eileen's stream, hello. Welcome. My name is Blanche. I'm sure that most of the people over here have already met me in person. But anyway, hi. So today's class is jump around. So we're going to be doing cardio. I'm going to give, since there may possibly be a higher preponderance of new people for class, I'm going to give my caveat for class. If you have never done class with me before, or if you have but not in a long time, then what I want you to do today is very simple. I want you to do the bare minimum. And what that means, it means 3 things. It means starting on time, so every time the starting horn goes, you are moving. Stopping on time, so don't stop doing the exercise until the ending horn sounds. And doing the exercise correctly. That's a big thing for me. I am really focused on form. Having good form for any exercise is basically the foundation of being able to stay fit and active for your entire life, rather than saddling yourself with injuries that are going to, get in the way of your exercise training and decrease your mobility and all of this fun stuff. And of course, I have a litany of my own, which is why I spend a lot of time trying to make sure that other people don't have to go through this. So, if you are new to class, I don't want your 100%. I don't want your 120%. I want the bare minimum. And you will find that if you just stick to doing those 3 things, you will get more than enough workout from today's class. So thank you for being here, everybody. Let's go through our pre-class checklist. So we've got, hi, oh, the hosting has begun. Hello, everybody. Man, all right. Well, I just gave my spiel, but I feel like I should give it again. If you are taking class today and you've never taken class with me, or you haven't taken class with me in a long time, I want your bare minimum. I don't want your 100%. I want your bare minimum, which means starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. We're going to be doing all of our exercises with these interval timers. So you will have an audio cue for when you are supposed to start moving. It will be auditorially distinct from the audio cue when you're supposed to stop moving. So those cues are God. Pay attention to them. Don't listen to me, because I'll get off on tangents and then I'll, totally miss a timer going off. But it's about time to start moving. So let's do our pre-class checklist. Have a water bottle with you. I'm assuming everybody's at home doing this class. So, if you want a pint glass filled with water, that's fine, or a mug or anything. Just fill vessels with water and make sure to drink it during class, because we are gonna be needing it. Hydration, very important, especially if you're in Colorado where it's dry. I like to start out modeling good habits. Make sure you are in comfortable clothing, whatever that means to you. For me, it means a lot of spandex, but if you are comfortable working out in a t-shirt and a pair of swim trunks, go for it. Awesome. Make sure that you have a mat. If you can see that. Yeah, you can see that. All you need for this class is a yoga mat. We don't need any equipment. This is all going to be body weight exercises, so all you need is a yoga mat of some kind or some sort of a surface that is not going to hurt your body to exercise on, and enough space around it. I have a very small living room. The space around my mat is basically just the length of my mat. So if I can do class, so can you. And then if you do use fitness wearables, let's turn them on right now. I neither endorse nor argue against them. I find them helpful, but not everybody does. And the fact of the matter is, do whatever is going to make the experience of exercising more comfortable for you. So if that is not using something that's going to yell at you if you didn't fill your move ring as quickly as you usually do, I totally understand that. But if you do like to use it, high intensity interval training is what we're doing today. All right, my friends, it's 4:32. That means it's time to get going. I'm excited. This is gonna be fun. All right, so welcome. What does it show me when I'm being hosted? Okay, cool. Doesn't show me anything different there. All right, so we are going to start with our 16-minute warm-up. I'm going to be doing it along with you and calling out things as we switch from exercise to exercise. So if you've never done class before, just keep an eye on the screen when we switch exercises, and I'll be, talking out loud the whole time and hopefully making it clear what you're supposed to do as we go from exercise to exercise. So let's get over to our mats, and we are going to start out. I'm going to tell you what we're doing before I start the timer. So we're going to start out lying on our mats, on our backs, and I've got my feet flat on the floor, so my knees are bent. I'm going to take one foot, cross it over the opposite knee, and then what we're going to start with is rock my hips up into the air, then bring that standing foot back down, come up onto the ball of that foot, and bridge your hips up into the air. And we're just going to go rock the hips up, bridge the hips up, rock the hips up, bridge the hips up, going back and forth between those two positions. So, everybody ready? Hopefully my speaker is loud enough to be heard and not so loud that it's going to blow us all away. Someday. So as soon as you hear the timer, we will be, off and running. Here we are. So we are doing our warm-up. We are doing hip rocks and bridges. When the timer goes off again, we will switch to the other side on this before we keep going forward. One of the things to think about, this is the warm-up, okay? So I don't want anybody here going, all right, man, I got to start class on the right foot. I got to really make sure that I'm giving this warm-up my all. You're going to run through all of your energy before your body has even had a chance to make any. So the warm-up sequence is a boot-up sequence. We are turning on all of the systems in our body that we need to succeed at exercise. So we're letting our brain know that it has to start sending electrical signals down to our muscle fibers. We're letting our muscle fibers know that, man, they are going to be working. All right, switch feet and keep on doing hip rocks and bridges. We're turning on our energy production systems that live in our muscle fibers, getting those going, telling them, oh yeah, now is all that fuel that you've been storing, now is the time for you to start breaking it down into something that we can use to keep ourselves going. So we're not here to be going 110% in the first minute or two of class. We are just trying to move our bodies, wake things up, get ourselves mentally and physically prepared for the rest of class. So if you're, you're like, oh, I feel like I'm barely rocking my hips off the ground, that's fine. You'll notice that I too am barely rocking my hips off the ground. All right, now we go into our leg sequence. So first, I want you lying on your side, and we're doing our best Jane Fonda impression. We love you, Jane. Someday I'll see if I can get you to take my class. She's 80 years old. She would totally take this class. She'd be amazing. So we are trying to keep our body in a nice straight line here. And so if you are struggling to feel what that should feel like, you have this lovely straight line in the form of whatever mat you're using that you can use to sort of set yourself up. Another thing that will help is making sure that you're engaging the glute of the working leg so that it's almost going to feel like you're pulling that leg backwards a little bit. I promise you're not, but it's going to feel really weird when you first do it. You're going to be like, whoa, I feel like my leg's all the way back there. But it's really just engaging that glute helps to line up everything in the body. All right, now take that top foot, put it flat on the ground in front of the bottom knee, and we start lifting the bottom leg. So anybody who just tried to roll over to the other side, come on back. We're on this side for this exercise and then one more before we switch over to the other side and do all three of them. So stick with me. We've got our foot flat on the floor. We want our knee to be pointing straight up towards the ceiling. This is the aspirational position. If you are not here today, that's totally fine. Being able to hit this position is going to depend on both hip strength and flexibility. So your knee may be all the way over here. Try engaging the muscles in your hip socket so that it starts pulling that knee backwards. It will feel intense. It's not going to be as relaxing of a position, but it'll help you build to that aspirational position. All right, now we've taken that top foot, we've put it behind the bottom knee, and we're still lifting that bottom leg. So this is the easiest one of the bunch, basically. We've got this foot flat on the floor, and it's in a much more stable position, so we're not really worried about rolling anywhere. We're just here chilling. I got my head resting on my hand here, and we're just lifting that bottom leg. The only thing that you probably will be feeling is you'll start to feel some fatigue in this leg, because this is the second exercise in a row that we've done with it. And just as warning, when the timer goes off again, we're going to do all three of these on the other side. Well, this leg becomes the top leg and is going to do a third exercise in a row. So if you're going, why do I feel so much intensity in that muscle? It's because now we're on the other side, we're doing Jane Fonda again, and we're still using this leg. We're using a different side of it. We're using the outside muscles to lift it up, but you can still feel some of that intensity. So here we are on the second side. How are you feeling about that nice straight line? One of the things that can help, because this is a balance, not like an intense balance, but it's a bit of a balance. Make sure that you're engaging your core muscles while you're here so that you're not worried about your hips or anything in your torso trying to roll this way or that way, and you're really just staying nice and stable up on that hip. All right, as we lift that leg, oh man, hey, it's definitely feeling a little bit tired. It knows it's been going for a while, and now its reward has come. All right, top foot in front of that bottom knee. We are lifting that bottom leg, same as the other side. So again, you can see on this side that my right hip is not as flexible as my left hip. So my knee does not effortlessly come into that position where it's pointing straight up at the ceiling. I really have to engage muscles back there in my hip joint to try and pull it back and maintain that position. So, everybody has different degrees of strength and of flexibility on different sides of their body for different types of exercises in different areas. We are not symmetrical beings by any stretch of the imagination. So if you're, going, why is it so easy on one side and so hard on the other? That is totally normal. Everything that your body has experienced changes how different parts of it react to different exercises. All right, we are on our last leg exercise before we move on to warming up our backs and our hips, okay? So here we are, just chilling, really relaxing here on our mats. Hopefully you have air conditioning in your home and you have it turned on. If you don't, then I salute you. Because I live in a very warm apartment, and if I don't have AC going for this, then it adds that sort of doing exercise in a sauna vibe, which can be good, but also introduces a whole host of other things you need to pay attention to. So turn on the AC if you have it, and if you don't, then drink even more water than what you already should be drinking. All right, so now we're going to roll onto our stomachs and we're going to do scorpion twists. So plant your forearms on the ground. They do not come up for any reason. Now we are swinging back and forth, swinging first one leg behind and over the back, and then the other, trying to get that foot flat on the floor, trying to get that knee pointing up towards the ceiling, but never letting our elbows or our forearms come off the ground. So if you're like, oh man, cool, I can get my foot flat on the floor, my knee's up there, but your elbow is way up here, then you can't twist that far, okay? Listen to what your body's telling you. We want to challenge our body. We want to, provoke a response. That is how we build strength and how we build flexibility. But there is a difference between doing that safely and doing it in a way that is inviting us to injure ourselves. And we don't like injuries. All right, standing up, we've got an imaginary PVC pipe in our hands, and we are just doing nice, big torso rotations. We're gonna change directions every couple of rotations, so don't just keep going the same way around the whole time, because we're only doing this once. So make sure that you're alternating. I generally alternate after every 2 rotations and then start going the other way, just to make sure that we're evening out the work on our body. Now, the movement is coming from my hips, okay? I'm not moving my arms and then trying to follow them. My arms are staying in the same position relative to my head the whole time, and then I'm moving from the hips down, through, and up, okay? So no following the arms. All right, still holding that pipe. We are now doing squats, just holding that pipe overhead. Again, arms should not be changing their position relative to your head, no matter where you are. This is our first opportunity to check in on our squat form. So when you squat down, you want your knees going straight forward, straight over your feet. We don't want them caving in towards one another at any point in here. So if you are not able to even come down here without your knees caving in, or if you can come down okay, but you really feel them caving in as you stand up, narrow your stance a little bit, all right? And start again and go, oh, okay, I can maintain this better. And keep doing this until you've strengthened yourself enough that you can try the wider stance. All right, down with those imaginary pulls. Now we are doing Samson stretches. So one leg stretching nice and straight out behind you, nice deep lunge, lifting our arms up, straight up towards the ceiling, and then switching to the other side. So we're just alternating legs back and forth. Remember to keep your hips pointing straight forward the whole time. All right, I'm not trying to open up into a warrior two position or anything like that. I want my pelvic bones as if they have headlights on them. And those headlights should be pointing forward the whole time, no matter what. And then just lifting those arms straight up. We're not trying to stretch them behind ourselves, so there'll be some natural curve in the back, but don't add to it by trying to go like that. All right, now we turn forward, come down into this nice low squat position, and we're just dipping our shoulders in towards the midline of our bodies. First one, then the other. Our shoulders are the only things that are moving right now, okay? So I'm not coming up and out of this squat at all. I'm not bouncing in this position. I'm not letting my knees cave in. Having your hands on your knees helps to keep them nicely levered in this safe position, okay? But if you're still struggling with that, if you're feeling, oh man, every time I bring the shoulder in, my knee wants to follow, one of the things you can do is not turn your feet out as far, okay? And see if that makes it easier to maintain, all right? Don't always look to me for the thing that you should be doing, because I have 30 years of dance training, and so a lot of flexibility in there. All right, we've reached cardio. Oh man, and it's but a taste of what we shall do throughout the rest of the hour. So we're doing jumping jacks right now, and again, we are not going for 100% intensity, all right? Remember, we are still booting up. We're still turning on all of our key systems. So right now, we are getting our heart rates going a little bit. We are getting our breath going a little bit faster, just kicking in that cardiovascular system. It's the last piece in the puzzle, but I'm just doing really chill jumping jacks. You know, my elbows are bent. I'm sort of tapping my fingertips above my head, but I'm not doing really big jumps, really straight arms, anything like that. Okay, so just really enjoy it. All right, kick throughs. If you've never done this before, please watch me first. So I'm down on my hands and feet, and I'm going to kick one leg through, and I'm up on this arm here, same arm as the leg that's kicked, shoulder directly over wrist. This standing leg, 90-degree angle, knee pointing up towards the ceiling. And then I go to the other side, and I just go back and forth and back and forth. If you've never done that before, I want you to go really slowly, okay? There are a lot of components to that exercise, and I don't want you trying to jump back and forth really fast, because again, we're always trying to minimize our chance of injury. So slow and steady. And now we've come to the last exercise in our warm-up. It's burpees. All right, so a nice big victory clap at the top, and we're doing wave push-ups. No plank push-ups, no matter how much you want to. We are doing a wave push-up. So start in a plank, let your hips down, let your chest down, chest up, hips up, jump forward, and clap at the top. All right, this is our final exercise. Oh goody. So really enjoy that fact. Again, we're not going super quickly, just getting a nice little starting sweat going as we round out. Oh, almost time to go back over those water bottles. Yeah, now it's time. Good job, my friends. Let's get some water going. Woo! So I will generally do 2-minute rests in between each of our new exercise sequences. Sometimes it'll end up being a little more if I get really up on on a particular conversational topic, but we have some time to relax, get our water bottles, and say hi to the chat. Hi, Steve. Whoa, you're hosting me too? Everybody's hosting me. So awesome. Hi, everyone. I hope you're ready to sweat, because that's what we're here for. All right. So, as I talked about earlier, this is a cardio class. So, we are going to be using the Tabata interval. The standard version is 20 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest. And it was, I don't have the full history, but it was created as sort of this perfect work interval that you can really get the most bang for your buck, essentially, in terms of exercise. So we're going to do a lot of the traditional version. We're also going to play around with the work interval on a couple of them. But for our first one, we are going to do standard 20-10. We're going to have 2 exercises, and we're going to have 8 repetitions. So we're going to be alternating back and forth between exercises, and we will do each of them a total of 4 times, okay? So that brings us to 8 repetitions. Math! So, here are our 2 exercises. The first one is going to be a turtle jump. And if you've taken class with me before, you know that when I say turtle, it means that we are starting by rolling up onto our shoulders and then rolling onto our feet like this. If you have trouble rolling up onto your feet like that without assistance, maybe your Achilles is a little tight, then you can use a hand to help push you up. And then once you're on your feet, I just want you to stand and jump and then back down. Whee! Whee! Just like that. Anyone who knows me knows that I think the turtle exercises are very fun. And then, ankle reaches. So I planned these classes a couple days ago, so it's a mystery to me as well. So for ankle reaches, we'll be lying on our backs. We will extend our feet straight up in the air. Straight legs, okay? No bent knees. And we are going to be contracting our abs so that it lifts our shoulders up off the floor, and reach a hand to the outside of the opposite ankle. And we'll just go back and forth and back and forth. All right? So those are our 2 exercises, turtle jumps and ankle reaches. So now our first run with the Tabata timer. So with this timer structure, the first sound you hear is not the go sound. So don't start, okay? That is your stop sound. I want you to memorize it. Then you hear knock, 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 and that means, okay, I need to get in position because soon I will hear the fanfare that tells me it's time to start. So we're going with our turtle jumps right now. And as you roll up onto the feet, I want you to pay attention to where your knees are, because just as with our squats, we do want our knees to be going straight over our feet and not caving in or out, okay? So keep an eye on that. All right, ankle reach time. Fanfare. So many ab exercises, people will frequently complain that, oh man, my neck feels stiff or sore every time I do this type of exercise. And the good news is, I can tell you why. The bad news is, it's because you're not actually using your core to generate the movement. All right? If you tend to do ab exercises and feel a lot of stiffness and soreness in your neck afterwards, it means you're trying to compensate for not using your core by pulling yourself forward, using your head, using your neck, using some other muscle group, okay? So I want you to really, as we come back around to ankle reaches for our second time, I want you to really focus on, oh yeah, it's my core. My core is the thing that is lifting me. I'm not using any other muscles to try and get myself off the ground.
And if I am really doing that, then I am going to feel it as I go forward, okay? I am gonna feel that intensity. And yeah, so now I'm like, whoo, man, my core is definitely getting some work done. All right, back around, 2 turtle jumps. So we're halfway through. That's the nice thing about having 2 exercises that we're switching between, is that it really helps to make the time of the work intervals feel like they go a little faster, because you have that additional variety, and that's keeping your brain engaged. You know, one of the reasons that we end up in plateaus with our fitness is because a lot of the initial work, when we start a new program or start a new activity, our brain is learning the pathways that it needs to be able to perform the exercise. And that's awesome. It helps it to automate a lot of the process. And that's why we feel like we're really making these huge strides initially. But once it's figured that out, then your brain switches over to, okay, I know exactly how to do this with the minimum amount of effort possible. And that is what we need to break through, is our brain's tendency to want to minimize discomfort. And we understand our brain is trying to protect us. And you always want to appreciate that, because these big, ridiculous, crazy brains have done a lot of amazing things for us over the millennia, and they have kept us alive. And that's all they're really trying to do, is keep us alive. But when it comes to making bigger improvements in our fitness, in our strength, in our stamina, we can't just keep showing up on the mat and doing the same level of intensity week after week and expect anything to change. And that's what our brains want to do. You know, they're like, oh, I don't see a cheetah around, so I don't really want to be using a ton of energy to push myself any further than I have to go. I want to get into that like slow and steady equilibrium, that marathon mentality. Our brains are great for marathon mentalities, but today's cardio, so we want to be sprinting. How's everybody doing? Water, make sure, see, I put my fitness mom voice on. Make sure you are getting your water bottle. Because adult humans are very bad at hydrating themselves. All right, so our next 2 exercises, we're gonna do the kick throughs again. We just did that in the warm-up, so hopefully that's still fresh in your mind. This will be a new opportunity for you to try them if you've never done them before. And then our second exercise is going to be star jumps. So star jumps are basically a cousin of the jumping jack, but where in a jumping jack, I jump out and land and jump in and land. With a star jump, I jump up, bring my feet out in the air, but then land in the same position I started in. So out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, like that. So for a star jump, I'm gonna have my hands over here, basically, you know, bent elbows, 90-degree angles, and I'm gonna do one of 2 things. I am either going to just sort of let them bounce like this is the easiest version, or I'm gonna bring them up to meet above my head and then bring my elbows down to my sides as I jump. So either just bouncing like this, or a little bit more distance to travel, but not so much that it really slows you down, okay? So those are our 2 exercises. We've got kick throughs and we've got star jumps. So everybody has had some nice drinks of water. Coming back on over to your mats. Remember, first sound, what does it not mean? Does not mean go. It means wait and then That is one of the most important sounds in the timer. That tells you to get ready so that you can move as soon as you hear the beginning of that fanfare. I do not want you to wait until the end of the fanfare before you start moving, because you only have 20 seconds to do the exercise. And if you're waiting until you hear the whole fanfare before you start, you've just lost 3 to 5 seconds out of the exercise. So really make sure that you're paying attention to starting on time and stopping on time. For tabatas, it's critical that as soon as you hear that sound, you are moving and you are going, okay? So we're not trying to drag out our rest any longer than we have to. We want to minimize the amount of time it takes us to start up, all right? It's never gonna be perfect because you'll hear the sound and your brain will have to take a non-zero amount of time to go, oh, I heard that sound. But once it's done that, I want you moving, okay? And that should get faster and faster the more used to the timer sounds that you get, all right? Woo! We are halfway through. No, we're not halfway through. We're almost halfway through. See, I start talking and I completely lose the thread of where we are. This is why you do not count on me to tell you when to switch between exercises, because I'm over here, I'm giving you exercise, like movement theory and talking about the importance of hydrating, and meanwhile 3 intervals have gone by and I haven't paid attention. So always move with that timer. That timer is telling you what you need to do. Now we are over halfway through. So we are on the back half. So this is our second to last time doing kick throughs. And then we'll go back to our star jumps and yada, yada, yada. Woo! I am feeling that sweat. Oh, yes, I am. All right, so here we are. One thing you may notice for star jumps, especially if you're new to them, is when you land, you may be bringing your feet so close together as you land that you're knocking your ankles together, okay? So do try to avoid doing that. We don't want you to have like bruised ankles by the end of class, all right? So really try to bring them together closely, but not slam, 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 all right? That's not ideal, you know? If it happens, it happens. We've all been there, woken up the next morning and gone, what the hell did I do to my ankles? So I understand, but my goal as a teacher is to help you learn from the mistakes I've already made so that you don't have to make them. All right, here we are on the last round of this timer. Oh yeah, hey. So really, let's go for speed for these last ones. May mean that you do the simpler arm movement so you can really maximize out in, out in, out in, out in, and go as quickly as you can. Really get in as many reps before you hear that final timer go. Excellent. Oh, well done, everyone. Yeah, let's get some water going. Oh man. Yeah, I love having this class on Wednesdays because it can feel, we get really exhausted midway through the week. You know, you're in that like so close and yet so far space. And as unintuitive as it can seem, having a class like this where you're really just getting all that energy out, laying it on the mat, going, I'm gonna take every scrap of energy I have and just push it out of me in sweat and exhaustion, it really can help to then build up more energy for the rest of the day, you know? It has has a nice clearing out effect that I hope you get to experience. All right, my friends. So our next Tabata timer, we are going to up the work interval to 30 seconds. So 30 seconds of work, but still only 10 seconds of rest. So an extra 10 seconds of work for each repetition, all right? So that is going to be new. You don't think the 10 seconds sounds super long. Maybe it won't be. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Who knows? But we still have 2 exercises. We're still going through them 4 times total for each. And our 2 exercises this time, we are going to do skips. So we're basically just standing and skipping in place. Back and forth, one foot to the other, always lifting the opposite arm as knee. We're not trying to move around on our mats, especially not if our mats are that movable. We are just trying to go up and down in the same place. And then our second exercise is side to side planks. So we're gonna come down here, start from your front plank, make sure your shoulders are directly over your wrists, your butt's out of the air. Come up onto one arm, let those heels just drop to the side, lift the other arm up to the air, hold for a second, let the judges see it, and then back through that front plank to the other side, and back and forth. You don't have to rush on those, all right? Especially because they require a lot of shoulder stability, so I don't want you jerking your shoulders around, all right? So the speed can be our skips, and then for our side-to-side planks, those can be a little more deliberate, all right? All right. Woo, woo, woo. Knock, knock, knock. Everybody on your mats, get ready to skip through the meadows. I always sing in my head a really ridiculous song, and I sing it too. That's the thing. My friend Leanne actually sent me the recording of the song that I was singing or thinking of, but I have it completely wrong in my head. And you know, I don't care. It's more fun that way. So enjoy singing a jaunty tune as you skip. But you see, those extra 10 seconds really do have an impact. All right, so now we're doing side-to-side planks. Make sure when you come to your side, you're not letting your hips sag down at all, okay? You're keeping your body nice and straight the whole time, and always keep your shoulders safely positioned over your wrists. You're creating a nice, stable position here, all right? And you want that stability. You want all of the muscles going into your shoulder to be working to stabilize, because this is a very flexible joint, which is great for a lot of things, but it means that we can more easily wrench it in a direction it's not supposed to go and then injure it. So working on building up the strength of your shoulder socket in addition to its flexibility is really, really useful. All right? Woo woo! Okay, that was our second time skipping. Hopefully you had perhaps a song from Sound of Music. I feel like there's plenty of music in there that you could be humming to yourself. Now we've come back around to those side-to-side planks. Check your form on that front plank every time you go through it. Is your butt way up here, or is it staying in that nice straight line? As I come up to the side, are my hips trying to sag down, or are they staying up and engaged? All right, always learn how to do those form checks for yourself every time, okay? Because again, I want you to always be doing the exercise correctly. It is literally a component of the bare minimum that I ask of people in class, okay? My bare minimum does not include number of reps or amount of weight or, speed or anything like that. It's literally just, can you start when the timer says go and not stop until the timer says stop? And during that whole time, can you make sure that you are performing the exercise safely and correctly? Because it's not doing either of us any good if you're over here banging out 50 reps to an exercise. I mean, that's an exaggeration, obviously, but it's not doing us any good if you're banging out a huge number of reps, but you're doing them unsafely, because not only are you in the short term setting yourself up for an injury, but in the longer term, you're training your body to do the exercise wrong, okay? And what happens when we do that is when we start getting tired, we'll start to lose that conscious control over the exercise that we're doing, and our brain will use its subconscious processing to default us to whatever patterns it has fully ingrained, okay? And if the patterns that you've ingrained are wrong or unsafe for that exercise, then every time you get fatigued enough, your body is defaulting to something unsafe, and that just continues to up the probability that you will injure yourself somewhere down the line. So that's why I focus on that. My opinion is that good form is the cornerstone of any activity that you want to do. And you should always start there, I don't care if it slows down our overall progression towards a goal, because it's going to slow you down a lot more if you injure yourself and then have to stop training for a while. So, form. We love form. We think about it all the time. And we never underestimate its importance, because I'm teaching adults, and I'm not here trying or wanting to teach elite athletes, Olympians, team sport, team athletes, anything like that. I want to work with people who want to use exercise as a tool in their toolbox for a healthier life and a happier life. And that's my goal. And the best way for us to start that process is to start by learning form, learning how our body responds to different exercises, learning what it feels like when our body is trying to tell us that it's struggling with something, and that if we don't stop, then we might injure ourselves. All of these things will help to keep us mobile for as long as possible, and without upping the likelihood that we injure ourselves. So form is awesome. Please come with me on that journey. All right, my friends, you did the 30-10. We're going to drop back down to 20-10. And here are our 2 exercises. Ooh, I love them. Ooh, I love them. All right. Long-time attendees know what that means, but we're not starting with this exercise. We're starting with squat jumps. I'm starting with falling over on my floor. Okay, so for a squat jump, we're going to take our feet between hip and shoulder width apart, and we're going to squat down like this, like you're sitting in a chair. I'm not going that far down. I'm just sort of squatting down like this, and then jump, down, jump, down, jump, and we're just jumping up and down like that. If you work with me in person, sometimes I'll make you do that on top of a Bosu ball, which adds its own special challenges. All right, and then our next exercise is shrimps. So This exercise, I am moving myself down my mat and then back up it by first moving my shoulders and then my hips. So I'm just sort of squiggling my way down, and then when I reach the end of my mat, I start squiggling my way back up. All right? If you've never done this before and you try that motion and you're like, I'm just turning in circles here, start with just doing a boat rock like this and visualizing every time my shoulders come up off the floor, I want to move them in the direction I'm traveling. Every time my hips come up off the floor, I want to move them in the direction I'm traveling, okay? And then once you've done that for a while, test out, okay, now I have that a little more in my head. Can I move along the mat, okay? All right, so squat jumps and tramps. Yee, yee, yee. So much fun. So here we go. Timer is on. I hope you had your water. Always important to drink that water. Hope you didn't start just then. All right, knock, knock, knock. Now we're getting in position. Ready? And whoo. And here we are, just 20 seconds, jumping up and down from that squat position. Oh, so fun. I should have gone to the bathroom before class. I'm really feeling those jumps. Yeah. Woo! Oh boy, howdy. Squat jumps. Now those will really activate your quads. All right. And now shrimps. One of the things that can also help. So your shoulders can't move as far in this as your hips can. My hips can make it, all the way over here. My shoulders just aren't going to move that fast and that far. So if I'm trying to maximize how far my hips go each time and my shoulders can't keep up, that's how you end up turning in a circle. So really try to hold your hips back so that they are moving the same or comparable distance as your shoulders and not the other way around. All right? Yeah. Squat jumps. Oh man. I saw a fellow personal trainer who's also my chiropractor do that with a client over at the Boulder Rock Club, which is where I taught in-person fitness classes in the before times. And I went, oh, that is a fun exercise. So if you love it or if you hate it, you have Ellen of the Chiro Lab to thank for it. Sorry, I know I'm walking out of frame, just sometimes I need to adjust the lighting in my apartment. Oh, poor little apartment. It makes do. It makes do. But it definitely was not designed for streaming or for exercise, honestly. But that's the thing. We are living in really strange, unprecedented in our lifetimes times. And one of the things that has been really good for me to work on is just remembering to keep myself creative. And what I mean by that is, routines are critical. Absolutely. They help give us a sense of stability and normalcy. And a lot of us are struggling because our routines got completely knocked out of alignment when COVID hit. So one of the things that I've been working on is learning how to adapt my routines to these new circumstances. So I used to be really bad at keeping my fitness going when I traveled because I was like, well, I'm not in the exact place that I want to be for this. Ooh, I was totally off. Hopefully no one was following me just then. I'm not in the exact place that I want to be for this exercise, so I'm just not going to do it. But if we do that right now, well, then we just stop exercising altogether. So, you know, my goal is to demonstrate as much as possible that even if you live in a 600 square foot apartment, you can still carve out a small chunk of real estate on the floor and use it to work up a really awesome sweat and keep getting fitter, keep getting healthier. And that's the goal. That's the goal. Creating new routines and teaching ourselves how to be a little more adaptable with our routines so that as we move forward and as our definition of normal keeps changing, we have more mental resources to move with it without feeling quite as overwhelmed by gestures vaguely at everything. All right. Woo-wee. Here comes our next Tabata, my friends. So we are going to do another 20-10, and we are going to have that with 2 exercises. First one is going to be split squats. So you're going to come down into, or split lunges, pardon me. So I'm coming down into this double bent leg lunge. All right, I'm not dropping my knee all the way to the floor. Still engaged, not letting this knee push really far forward over the feet. And then jump in the air and land in the other squat position. It's intense. Whew. Yeah, especially right after those squat jumps. Don't worry, I will stretch out our quads after we're done, I promise. And then the other one's gonna be burpees. And I know you know what I want from burpees. So back to your mats, my friends. Here we come. Do. Alrighty. Getting ready for that sweet, sweet timer. Okay. All right, this is gonna be intense. I know, I want you to know that I know. All right, jumping back and forth. Really, I don't want you slamming that knee against the floor, all right? I have a little cushion here because I have these nice thick puzzle piece mats, but if you are doing this on a wood floor, you cannot let your knee come all the way down, all right? Otherwise, you're gonna actually injure yourself. So it makes it even harder because you have to keep that leg much more engaged throughout. Woo, almost lost my balance there. All right, don't forget about your victory claps at the top there. All right, we are cheering ourselves on. And it's important. It's important to cheer yourself on as we go through this madness. So make sure that you can always hear that congratulatory clap. And you know it's coming from you. How are your legs feeling? Oh man, I didn't quite grok what doing the split squats right after the squat jumps would feel like. So I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate you for being badass, because you are badass, and I want you to always remember that. And back to those burpees. Remember, you are still doing a wave push-up, okay? I don't want you over there thinking that you can turn that into a plank push-up because we're far enough along in class. No. It's a wave push-up, still a wave push-up, and keep your elbows close in by your sides as you do it so you can really focus the work on your triceps. All right, we're halfway through. We're back to those split lunges, back and forth. This is our second time second time, third time doing them. And how's it feeling? How's your form? Especially when we're halfway through. That's the time to really check in and reassess and be like, okay, is my form still just as good on this third time through as it was on the first time through, okay? And if the answer is no, then what do I need to adjust? All right, can I adjust it while I'm still moving? Hopefully so. But if you can't, hold back, stop, and readjust, all right? That's the thing. I'm going to give you advice. I am going to give you directives, absolutely, through all of this. But that's my job as a teacher. But you are ultimately the person who is living in your body, okay? And so if you're doing this and you're like, oh my God, it feels like my knee is really just, it's hurting right now, or ooh, I'm starting to feel something in my shoulder, then you modify or you stop, okay? Absolutely. Don't wait for a directive from me, because it's so important for you to be able to interpret what your body is saying. And we all, I think if we stop and think about it, we do have that understanding of the difference between pain that is, oh man, I'm getting a really good workout, and pain that is, ooh, that feels wrong, you know? They're two very different pain sensations. And it is important for you to be able to identify that, all right? Okay, my dears. Oh boy, howdy. We are just gonna do one more Tabata, and I think I'm gonna keep it as a 20-10 this time. So we're still gonna do 2 exercises. This is gonna be our final Tabata, and then I will do a little stretching, and you are more than welcome to stick around. I always recommend doing some stretching after you're done. So please do stick around if you're able. We generally do like 10 minutes, maybe. So here are your exercises. We're gonna pretend we're holding a jump rope, and we are going to jump back and forth with our imaginary jump rope, okay? And we can go a little faster because we're not actually worried about tripping on it. And then our other exercise, we started with a turtle jump. We are gonna end with a turtle wave. So turtling up here, plant your hands back into that plank, wave push up, down and up, jump forward, and go again, all right? So those are our last 2 exercises. All right, get ready, because this is the end. This is the end of class. This is the final timer, and that means that we are not holding anything back anymore. We do not have any need to be portioning off energy that we need to make it through the rest of class. The rest of class is over. This is it. So now is the time for you to go really pushing yourself for as fast as you can go, as much energy as you can put in, all right? These little jump ropes are gonna feel a little easier to start with. You'll get there eventually as it goes on, but that means you have even more energy to drop your glasses on the ground and really push in for speed, for power, and not holding anything back. We have made it through an hour of class, and that is absolutely amazing. You are doing so well, and you should be incredibly proud of yourselves. So now's the time that I start talking like a mad auctioneer, because we are here, we are so close, and we just want to leave everything on this mat. So I want you all to take your cheerleader, your inner cheerleader, out of your head. And I want you to put them on the floor next to your TV, your computer, whatever monitor you're using to stream this class, I want you to think about them down there, jumping up and down like crazy, just cheering you on like absolute mad people, because they know that you have made it through an hour's worth of class. You have sweat, you have pushed out all of this energy, you've gotten your heart rate up and you've gotten it down, you've drunk a ton of water, but probably not enough, and you have done something that is so amazing and awesome for your body. Oh man, I keep getting off on my timings. You have done something so amazing and awesome for your body, and you should be proud of yourself. And you know what? This is a really hard time for a lot of us. We are going through, collectively and individually, we are going through so much shit. We are struggling with so many things, and it can feel really overwhelming, especially when you are dealing with both the problems of a nation and with the problems of simply living your life and all that that entails. You know, it can feel really easy to feel like we just do not have the energy left to keep ourselves going in the face of all of this. And I understand that, but you know what? Even in the face of so much pain and anger and suffering and turmoil on so many levels, you still made it here. You still turned on the stream. You still got yourself on the mat and said, I am going to take this hour and I'm going to make this hour an hour where I show myself beyond a shadow of a doubt that I am strong and that I am powerful, and that even if I'm not where I want to be today, even if we as a country are not where we want to be today, that we have the power and the strength to get ourselves there. We're starting right here on our mats, and we're gonna keep going as long as it takes. Good job, everyone. Holy crow. Oh, I'm so proud of you. Whew. All right, let us grab a quick sip of water. And then we're gonna do just a little bit of stretching. Give ourselves a cool down, all right? This is a good way to care for our bodies after a nice big workout like that, and make sure that we're helping to gently and safely improve our flexibility while our muscles are still really warm and pliable, okay? So let's just start on our mats. Nice hip width stance. And we're just gonna start by letting our chin come down to our chest and then rolling just to one side and then back down and over the other side. And we're just gonna go back and forth and back and forth on your own timing. You don't have to follow my rhythm. We're just swinging ourselves back and forth. Oh yeah, that feels good. All right, now we're gonna come back through and up and do a full circle. And when you come back down, change to the other side. So now we are doing a full head roll. All the way up and down. Ooh yeah. Probably feeling a lot of things crackling. I know I am. All right. Stay here with your chin to your chest. And what we're gonna do, I'll show you from the side, is we're just gonna roll our bodies down one vertebra at a time until our hands are touching the floor or as close as they can come to it. So I'm gonna count us down. We're gonna go down on an 8 count. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, we're down. Our legs, our knees are not locked, but they're not bent either, okay? So they're straight, but not locked into place where I can't really move them. You're feeling a nice stretch along your hamstring. I want you to shake your head out. Make sure that you're not clenching your neck. Okay, and then on another 8 count, we're gonna take 4 counts to squat all the way down and 4 counts to straighten our legs back up so that when we come back up, we're folded a little closer to our legs this time, all right? So we're gonna do that twice in a row. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4, and up. 5, 6, 7, 8. Again. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and up. 5, 6, 7, 8. Take your hands behind your ankles and just on a nice exhale, just try and pull your torso a little bit closer to your legs. All right. Shake that head out again. And now we're going to roll all the way back up, okay? So I'm going to bend my knees like this and then start rolling from here, all right? Again on that 8 count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't move. Stand here. I don't want you adjusting your hair or your clothes or your body. I want you to just stand here, feel that height after all of that stretching. Take a nice deep breath and out. All right. Shake yourself out a little bit. And let's just do my favorite stretch, which you know if you've taken class with me before. We're going to do a nice quad stretch because we did a lot. We did a lot for the old quads. All right. So for the leg where we're going to be stretching it, I've bent my knee and I've got my heel on the outside of my body. I'm going to pull it so it's right up against my hip, okay? My other leg is just sort of folded out, the foot touching this knee, but it's not really relevant. So this is my working leg right here, and no matter where I go in the position, I want to make sure my knee stays on the ground. I don't want it coming up at any point. You'll see why I mentioned that in a second. So now we're going to start letting ourselves down backwards until you feel a super intense stretch along your quad. And when you feel that stretch, you don't have to go down any further. So if you feel it just letting your back down like this, that's fine. If you get down to your elbows and then you're like, ooh, man, I don't think I could go any farther, don't go any farther. Or if you are super flexible, come all the way down here to the ground, all right? But wherever you are, you should feel that stretch all along the quad and coming into the front of that hip flexor. If you are lying on the floor like me, you'll feel your lower back is still a little arched. So our goal is to try and get that a little bit flatter towards the floor. What we're going to do is we're going to take 4 deep breaths here, and wherever you are in the position, each time you exhale, I want you to try and sink a little deeper into the stretch, okay? So here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. All right, now we're going to carefully lever ourselves up. It's not very graceful. And I don't want you moving this leg with the leg. I want you to take your hands, lift it up, and unfold it like that so that you're not putting a lot of pressure on the knee to unfold straight from that position. Extend your legs out in front of you. Just shake your knees around a little bit. Let's loosen our ankles. So flex the feet and point and flex and point, and then circle in one direction and then the other direction. And now we're going to stretch out that other side. Same thing, all right? All the same notes as before. You may be able to go lower on this side, or you may not be able to go as low. Just make sure that that knee is staying on the ground no matter where you are, and that you are not forcing yourself past the point where you're like, all right, this is a really intense stretch, and if I go any further, I might hurt myself, okay? So we're all in our nice position, wherever that is for you. And we're going to take those 4 deep breaths. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Nice. All right. Carefully back up. Carefully moving that knee back out. Stretch those legs in front of you. Shake out those knees. Flex the feet. And point. And flex. And point. And roll in one direction. And then in the other direction. All right, we're just gonna do one more stretch, my friends. So we're gonna sit in a butterfly pose. So I've got the soles of my feet together. I'm letting my knees just fall open like this. And we are just going to walk ourselves forward and fold over our feet. And what I want you to think about, I don't want you to just curve over like this, because that, if I'm here, you know, my lower back is really far away and I'm not actually feeling the stretch. So what I want you to think about doing is keeping a flat back as far as you can as you go forward, and then when you can't anymore, then you let the top of your back curve over. And now I'm much more folded over my legs and I can really feel that stretch in my hips, okay? This is one of those exercises that if you have someone else in the house with you, they can help by putting a knee on your back and helping to apply a little additional pressure as you go down. But if you're here alone, then that's fine. We can make it work for ourselves. So let's start walking over, flat back as far as you can. Okay, now we'll let my upper back fold over a bit, and I'm nicely folded over those feet. Shake that head out a little bit, make sure you're not holding the neck. And we're gonna take those 4 deep breaths. All right, get ready. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Roll on up. And you are done. Woo! Good job. everybody. Oh, thank you, Blair. Your motivational speech is the best thing. Look, I like doing them. I think it's important that we do what we can to motivate each other. And everybody has different levels of strength for that on different days. And, when I'm sitting in front of the camera, I try to be honest about where I am mentally and emotionally, even on the days when I'm not in a great place. But even on those days, I still want to be a source of joy and help. And I hope that you find that. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everybody who has been watching these streams being hosted on other channels. Steve and Eileen, thank you so much for hosting me today. For anybody who did not know, my friend Eileen over at Strawberry Sunbeam has been streaming for Extra Life all day, with donations made going to that organization, and with her matching donations going to the Okra Project and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. So I think Eileen is still going after this, so you should hop over to her channel and check that out. Be very appreciated. I would appreciate it. And yeah, thank you for being here. I've got 2 more classes this week. Friday afternoon is Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects that you can find around your house. And then Saturday morning, we have our weekend kickoff class, which is a nice body weight strength and stamina class. If you liked this class and you would like to see more, do more exercise with me, then please consider following my channel. I've been growing this community and it's been really exciting, and I have so many more things that I want to be able to do with all of you. So, if you enjoyed it, or if you have friends or family or loved ones or enemies that you think would enjoy it, send them my way. Oh gosh, okay, Eileen is done, but I hope that many of you did get to watch her stream. But yes, so if you enjoyed that, please do follow this channel. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Blanche Case Fitness for Facebook and Insta, Blanche C Fitness for Twitter. And if you enjoyed my class and have a couple of bucks to spare for a donation, I do have a Ko-Fi account, and donations are always appreciated but never required, because really the most important thing is that we're all able to gather here and work out together and have a little fun. So thank you so much to everybody who watched today and everybody who took class, and maybe I will see you back here on Friday. Mwah. Have a great night.